Hey guys, Greg here from LensProToGo, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. We're going to be doing a lighting breakdown on a photo, showing you exactly what went into it to get this shot. This photo was taken by Robert Hare, who's an employee here, but he's also a commercial and portrait photographer. He opened his studio in 2008, and he specializes in studio photography. I'll throw a link to his website in the description below if you want to check out some more of his work. With that said, let's jump into this breakdown. Right away, we can tell this is a high-key image. There's a lot of light and not too much shadow. If you quickly look, you can see that there's probably about 4 lights. I see 2 in her eyes, which are going to be for lighting her, so that's going to be like the key and the fill. And then there's a rim light here, which is going down the side of her face, side of her arm, hand, a little bit on the nose there. And then there's also something lighting the background. So let's go back to the beginning now. To help illustrate this to you guys, I'm going to be using a program called Cinema 4D. It's a 3D modeling program, but I can use it to get very realistic lighting. So we're going to start with our key light, or main light, and this is going to be covering a majority of our subject here. So you can see that most of the subject is illuminated. There is some shadows, but we're going to deal with that with some other lights later on. Here's the behind the scenes shot where we have all the lights set up. Here's a top view so you can see which lights are on at each time, and then here's just a small view so you can see what's happening as we turn lights on and off. This is the key light here, and for this we're using a Profoto B1, which is a self-contained battery-powered flash. We also have a 32 by 24 softbox on it. This is going to give you that nice soft light as a base. What we're going to do next is we're going to jump in and we're going to add a fill light. So as you can see here, a lot of those shadows are gone, and I know this sort of makes a flat look, but we'll deal with that later by adding other lights to add that dimension to it. So right now we have both of these lights on in the front, and these are going to be lighting her from obviously both directions, and you can see we've added in some nice catch lights in her eyes. If we jump over to the full view, we can see a little bit better what's going on. So you can see those 2 eye lights here and here from both of the main fill lights. We can see we have a very flat image, very high key, and I can turn that light on and off so you can see exactly what's happening. We're just filling a lot of those shadows along this side, going up into the face, down around the shoulders, under the neck a little bit, and you can see that on and off here. We're also starting to light the background a little bit, which we'll worry about later when we put that light on it. Next, we're going to add in our rim light. And this light is going to be adding a little bit of highlight to the side of the face, and they're going to start pulling it off of this background. For this one, we're using a B2. So we have that. It's hidden right behind this light over here. And that is going to be a B2, and that has a 12 by 36 softbox on it. So a very tall, long softbox just to illuminate this whole side of the model. This is starting to look pretty good. We're starting to bring back a lot of that dimension in the talent. As you can see, we're starting to pull them off the background, like I said. And here's that light on and off so you can see exactly what it's doing. It's really starting to reshape the face again, where we had a very flat light before with the 2 key lights just coming straight from the front. Now we're getting this one coming from the back, and we're going to be getting a lot more like edging and highlights to show that off a little bit. You can see right here on her nose. We have it on the side of her face, her shoulder a little bit, her hand. I can turn that on and off just so you can see that. One more thing before we add the backlight to really separate her, we're also going to add a bounce. And this bounce is placed right here underneath the 2 B1s in the front. And what this is going to do is going to fill a little bit of the shadows. When you have light coming down on your model like this, sometimes you can get some shadows under the eyes, under the nose, under the chin, and it doesn't always look that flattering. So what we can do to help that out is we can add in a bounce, and this is going to reflect light up into those areas and correct for some of those problems. As you can see here, let me turn the light on and off, or the bounce on and off. And very subtly, it adds in some fill into this area, a little bit under the nose, and just sort of brightens up the overall image. So here's that on and off again. So now you can see we have 5 light sources. We have the 2 B1s, which are the keys. We have a bounce, which is filling in the shadows. And then we have a B2 in the back doing the rim. Now we're going to add in another B2, and this is going to be for the backlight. On this light, we have a 30-degree grid, which is roughly placed right here behind the talent, and this is going to be shooting up at the wall behind them. Let's jump into the close-up view so you can really see what's happening here. As I turn that light on and off, it really brings some three-dimensionality to the photo. We're getting a really nice gradient coming off the back. We're even having this light sort of motivate this rim light a little bit, which gives it some really realistic feeling to it. Now, the last thing I just want to show you before we finish up here is just the evolution of sort of the lighting setup. So we start here with our key, and that's going to be filling in a majority of the face. Then we're going to have the fill, which is going to be filling in that shadow on the side. We'll have the rim, which starts to bring some dimension back into the face after the flat look from the fill. Then we're going to add in the bounce, which is going to just fill in those shadows under the nose, under the eyes, under the chin, and that's going to start making the light look a little bit softer on the talent. Then we're going to add the backlight, which is going to really pull the talent off of that backdrop, and it's going to give us a really nice gradient and sort of complete this look. Here they are close up, and I'm just going to add the lights one by one so you can see how it goes. We have the right key, which is the main light filling it. We have our fill light, which is going to fill in those shadows. We have our rim light, which is going to add a little bit of dimension back to the face. The bounce, just to lift those shadows a little bit. And then we have our backlight to pull the talent off of the backdrop. And that's it for this episode. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll also be putting some links in the description if you want to see some more detailed layouts with the exact placement of the lights, all of the gear we used, and some more specific details about the setup, like the light output and the camera settings. Thanks for watching, and as always, head on over to LensProToGo.com and start shooting.